When I was a young girl of all of 16, I saw a poster in the high school guidance office that asked, "Want to be an exchange student?" And I did. And I went to Sao Paulo, Brazil for a whole school year in 1970. So my interest in the programs is very personal. And now, through the work of our foundation, which for the past 10 years has sent 250 high school students abroad, and when the Academy opened up their international programs, we were about 9 years ago right on the scene to do something similar.
When I was approached with what could we do as a family, we said, how do we bring those opportunities to the midshipmen whose schedules are jammed? You know, they take over 140 credit hours, they've got summer training blocks and so on.
Many people do think about study abroad, and that's an incredibly important component. But my wife and I have also supported regional programs that bring distinguished scholars and speakers to the yard, and that give the entire brigade some insights into a particular area. The fleet of the United States Navy and the Marine Corps are expeditionary forces. Our midshipmen will become junior and mid-grade officers. Some will actually lead the fleet. That will necessarily take them overseas across multiple time zones, dealing in various areas of responsibility where English is not the primary language, where relying upon host nations as partner allies will be extremely important. And the ability to communicate, to engage, to understand those different and very disparate cultures, partners and also adversaries, is a major competitive advantage for the U.S. Navy.
In 2010, I did a 1-month stint in Egypt, and then my first year I did a semester abroad in Morocco.
So I was able to participate in the semester exchange with the Japanese National Defense Academy. There were just so many meaningful experiences that I had that it's hard to narrow them down, but the ones that come to mind were climbing Mount Fuji with all the international students and getting to know these future officers that I'll be working with.
And a lot of people think it's about language immersion or just seeing a different culture and so on. What comes back is the contextual understanding of the situation they've been in.
I was in third world countries, so it was very different from life here in the United States. Having that independence from the Naval Academy, I didn't have someone telling me what to do all the time, telling me where to be, how to dress. This is how things work, transportation, living. That's really important for midshipmen because when you go into the fleet, you have to use leadership, you have to use problem solving, and being abroad, being in a new place, that really forces you to utilize those skills. I work at the Sailing Center, and I was given the opportunity to travel to India for a sailing regatta, but there were 27 different countries participating. I made sure to brush up on my Arabic. I learned a handful of key phrases in Hindi so that I could speak to the officers there that were hosting us, and it was just undescribable. You know, being a white female and trying to converse and become more personable with the officers from the Arab countries can seem intimidating at first based on the culture. But when they saw me trying to speak Arabic, instead of thinking, oh, I'm an American, everyone should just be speaking English, but knowing a little bit, trying to go that little extra mile, I found that really valuable.
Anytime you have an opportunity to go abroad or to interact with someone from a different culture than your own, you learn how to communicate with someone who grew up differently than yourself, has different priorities. That's valuable for anybody, but in a military context, especially for midshipmen, we're going to be leading sailors and Marines that are completely different than ourselves, whether they be national or international.
When I went to my first ship, I was put in charge of 30 people, and the opportunities I had abroad helped me to understand, be able to relate, and then also just being able to explain what we needed to accomplish in different ways. It gave me that confidence to know that I had all the tools to lead, to problem solve, and to get to an end goal together as a team.
I think any international experience, especially mine, it made me more resilient to change, helped me to handle the random things that get thrown at you, which is what a daily life is going to be in the fleet. Nothing's going to be exactly as planned. I learned how I handle those situations.
On a larger scale, the ability to communicate in other languages to various countries, it really helps them understand that the U.S. is a friend. We would like to help. We are understanding. In the long run, I know that it's going to make a huge difference, and the more people trying to learn languages and culture, at some point the paths will recross in the fleet. That's how we build, that's how we grow, and that's how we get stronger.
And so we want to support that at the Academy. The international programs is the best way to ensure that. And we hope that others will share in our support for these important programs.
We don't always get the funding federally, so philanthropic effort fills the gap, so to speak. And not just that, we hope it will grow over time as people recognize what a valuable program it is for our Navy and for our country.
The first thing I want to say to anybody who has helped is thank you. There's just no way to express how much gratitude I have. I would want my children to have those experiences. I want my future sailors and Marines, the officers in my wardroom, they deserve opportunities like that so that they can be better prepared.
Thank you. Shukran jazilan, dhanyavad, merci beaucoup, gracias.
本当にありがとうございました。